It's cooked. It's time to watch it. Chat, it's time to hear Nick tell us all about the buy now, pay later scam. We ready, chat. Let's go.
I've done it. I've accidentally stumbled upon the dumbest business model on the planet. Today we're talking about buy now, pay later. Historically speaking, it has been a method of payment since pretty much forever. And it's been exactly what it sounds like. You buy something that you can't afford right now and you pay for it later. Whether you're buying a house or a car or your oven goes out and you don't have enough money to replace your oven, you go to the appliance store and the appliance store is like, no problem, we'll hook you up with a payment plan so you can get your oven. It's never been an issue.
Where's all the money? That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs. See this? That's a car. Might want to hang on to that one.
But in the past couple of years, apparently flying under my radar, a bunch of tech bros have gotten together and said, you know what, we should take this method of payment and turn it into an entire business model. And it is not only the dumbest business model I've ever seen, it's almost unironically evil. Like if you were to take a cabal...
Yes. No, it's not almost unironically evil. I'm going to say this right now. These buy now, pay laters are evil. They've come into existence specifically to prey upon the poor and uneducated. All of these buy now pay laters that they're talking about, like not credit cards, not standard bank loans, but these buy now pay later ones that have astral fucking comical interest rates, are designed to prey upon poor people. They are 100%. That is what they are designed to prey upon poor people to make themselves rich. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Of evil economists and put them in a think tank and tell them they need to come up with the dumbest way possible to crash the economy. This is what they would come up with, and we're going to get into it right after word from our sponsor.
Delete me.
No gun this time?
Oh.
What is that?
It's my new concealed carry. It's so cute and small.
I mean, it's pretty average, I would say.
Well, I can't get my two hands on it.
Oh, is that the standard now? All right, here's the deal. Super simple, straightforward business model. You give them money, they turn around and make sure the data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does that even mean? Okay, here's the entire internet and every free service on the planet inside of a nutshell. Okay, there's a say.
You didn't see? Hang on. Okay, hang on. Let me move over so you guys can see the skit. I should have done this in the first place so you guys can see the skit.
Do it right after word from our sponsor.
Delete me.
No gun this time?
Oh.
What is that?
It's my new concealed carry. It's so cute and small.
I mean, it's pretty average, I would say.
Well, I can't get my two hands on it.
Oh, is that the standard now? All right, here's the deal. Super simple, straightforward business model. You give them money, they turn around and make sure the data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does that even mean? Okay, here's the entire internet and every free service on the planet inside of a nutshell. Okay, there's a saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. What that means is pretty much anything on the internet that you use, that's a service, whether that be Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of it, okay? It's all an app. So one of two things is happening. They're either gonna feed you ads, and that's how that company makes money since their service is free, or they're going to collect your personal information, then turn around and sell it to data brokers on the internet, and then they're going to turn around and sell it to whoever buys it, and next thing you know, you're getting 17,000 robocalls every single day. And that's where Delete Me comes in. They will look through all the major data brokers and find the ones that are selling your personal information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf, and then they are legally obligated to comply. And then they'll continue to monitor these data brokers, and if they get your information again, Delete Me will submit an opt-out request again. Basically, you're paying Delete Me to get rid of all the downsides of all of the free stuff on the internet, which I think is absolutely worth it. If you want to check them out, I'll have a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. All right, moment of transparency. I had no intention of making this video. I didn't even really know that these companies existed or how they functioned until recently. I went to order something off of DoorDash, a pizza for me and the family, and I was presented with payment options. Those were Apple Pay, a credit card, or Klarna. And for whatever reason, on this particular day, I said, what the fuck is Klarna? So I clicked on it. I was then presented the option of making an account with Klarna, and then I would be allowed to make 4 easy installments to pay off my pizza.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever...
yes, the bag of holding only women have.
And Deadpool. Don't forget Deadpool. Yo. How predatory is it that you are allowed to Klarna buy now, pay later on DoorDash? Like, how fucking predatory is that? Like, from both Klarna and DoorDash, that you basically have payment plan options for your food. That in and of itself is disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. You want to buy a pizza? You want to buy a burger and fries? Cool. Get a payment plan on it. Like, what the fuck?
To which I immediately said to myself in my head, that's stupid. I'm not about to finance a pizza and a private chauffeur to deliver it to me. I hit back and paid with a credit card, but then I was like, well, wait a minute. I technically did just finance a pizza and a private chauffeur to bring it to me because I paid it with a credit card, right? I'm buying it now and I'm gonna pay for it later when I pay my credit card statement off at the end of the month. So what the fuck is the difference between Klarna and a credit card? So I looked into it, and guess what the difference is between Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, all these buy now, pay later tech companies, and a credit card? Basically nothing. Credit cards are regulated. These companies are barely regulated, and they're nowhere near as regulated as a credit card.
Same, but different. But still same.
Now, obviously, these tech companies insist that they are different from credit cards. That's why they're not getting regulated as credit cards. So let's just go ahead and go over both and see if we can see any difference whatsoever. Credit card companies primarily make money in two different ways. One, if you don't pay off your balance at the end of the month, they charge you like 26% interest, and they make money off of the interest. Okay, pretty straightforward. Everybody understands that. Way number two credit cards make money that less people understand is they act as a payment processor. So what that means is every time you swipe your credit card at a store, they are going to charge the retailer between 1% and 3% of the total purchase amount every single time you use your card. So if you go to Walmart and buy $100 worth of groceries, Walmart is going to end up paying $3 for that 3% of a processing fee. And then if you don't pay off your bill, they're going to make interest on top of that.
Wait, hang on. DST, you said I've used it to buy groceries when I had unexpected medical bills, but what I used was a pay in full with my actual bank. Okay, so DST, what you're saying is that you did a buy now, pay later, but it was through your bank and not through a third party like Klarna. That's... Huh. I wasn't aware that banks were offering that kind of thing. That's honestly kind of scary. That actually scares me that banks are going this route.
Those are the two ways that credit card companies make money. Now, Klarna and all the other buy now, pay later companies are totally different because they make all of their money off of processing fees, but instead of charging 1% to 3%, they charge 3% to 6%, aka double what a credit card charges. And then they give you a 0 interest loan for 30 days. And if you don't pay it off, then they start charging you interest. It's the same fucking thing as a credit card.
They're the same picture.
They even have a Visa card that you can put in your wallet and take with you to do this as much as you want. So why the fuck isn't it regulated like a credit card? Well, you see, a credit card is a revolving line of credit. That means you've got a $5,000 limit. You can spend $5,000, you pay it off, you can spend $5,000 all over again. When you use Klarna, Klarna isn't giving you access to a line of credit. They're giving you an individual loan. So if you get on DoorDash and use Klarna to pay for a fucking burrito, Klarna is giving you an individual loan for said burrito.
Good Lord, pay it off today.
Pay it off.
And you can avoid interest on that loan by paying that loan off in full in 30 days, exactly like a credit card. Or, unlike a credit card, you could sign up for their payment plan where you make 4 payments over the course of 6 weeks and you'll still avoid interest. But if you go with that payment plan, each loan is going to come out of your account on its own schedule. So if you buy 30 things off of Klarna, you've got 30 loans out there auto withdrawing from your account on whatever random dates those payment dates are. So basically, Klarna is running 30 transactions a month to get all their money out on 30 different days, making it very, very hard for the average person to keep track of how much money they owe and how much debt they're actually in.
It sounds like a simple shakedown, simple as that.
Okay, just so we're all on the same page, their entire argument is, yeah, we're basically a credit card, but we're a really, really shitty, inconvenient credit card, therefore we shouldn't have to play by any rules. But don't worry, it gets worse. You see, when you apply for a credit card, they actually run your credit, and if you buy a bunch...
Well, I mean, Garrett, we've seen stuff on Caleb's show where they have Klarna payments. They have, like, what is it, Klarna, is it Insights? Like, like, there's 2 or 3 major, in addition to, like, Klarna,
The
Klarna
one
and
time
PayPal.
I used Affirm was for a new computer.
Affirm, that's
it was
it.
convenient for me, and I made sure not to do anything else.
The Affirm was the other one that I was thinking of. Thank you, Leo. Yeah, like the major ones is Klarna, PayPal, and Affirm. We see that. I don't think Dave is a big one that you see advertised on a lot of websites. Like we saw Dave in that one Caleb video. Yeah, Chime is now becoming big on that too. And so we have seen several guests on Caleb's show that are in debt utilizing things like Klarna, using things like Affirm, using things like the Cash App. Yes, J10, like that. And we've seen them get into serious debt by using those things because, yeah, it's like, well, it's kind of free money and I can pay later, but ignoring the fact that they can't pay it in the first place and blah, blah, blah. So we've seen it on Caleb's channel. People that are in gross amounts of debt in addition to everything else by using Klarna, by using Affirm, by using Cash App, by using Zip, etc., etc., etc. It's just, it's a way for these companies to basically make people think, I can buy that thing I want, even though I don't have the money to buy it. I can just do this, and it's just, I'm only paying X amount of dollars per month. And they do that, and then they keep doing it, and it stacks up. And like Nick is saying, you've got these random dollar amounts coming out all throughout the fucking month that you can't keep track of. And now all of a sudden, all of the money that you should have had from saving is gone because it's going to these buy now, pay later things all throughout the fucking month.
But don't worry, it gets worse. You see, when you apply for a credit card, they actually like run your credit. And if you buy a bunch of stuff on a credit card and then you pay it off, it increases your credit score. That's a lot of the reasons that people go and get credit cards at a young age to build credit so they can hopefully buy a house in the future. These buy now, pay later companies, on the other hand, they don't run your credit. So you can buy a bunch of shit with these companies, but it's never going to improve your credit score. But inversely, if you go ahead and don't pay your bill, they'll report it to collections and then that will tank your credit score. So they can only hurt your credit, they can't help it. Buh! If you don't like the service, then just don't use it. Buh! Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Here's how that affects all of us. Remember earlier when I said that they doubled the processing fees of a normal credit card? Great, wonderful. If retail companies are gonna have to pay an extra 3%, they're gonna pass that along to the customer, and they can't discriminate and only pass it along to Klarna users because you can't make individual people pay the processing fees. So they're just...
Another thing that maybe he'll bring this up with credit cards. You actually have to apply to them and they check your credit. Credit cards actually will do a credit check in order to determine if you will be allowed to have a credit card. Klarna, Affirm, Zip, Cash App, all of those, PayPal, all of those buy now, pay later schemes, they don't check your credit. So they'll just, like you say, I want to do this on Klarna. All you do is you literally just create an account. There's no credit check. There's no determination. Can you, based upon your credit, work with something like this? And so people that have bad credit, he kind of sort of mentioned that, Aranami, but this is what I'm pointing out, how it's like preying on, and he might, Aranami, that's what I said, he might get into this, but I want to say something about it first, is that with credit cards, there's sort of like a roadblock to keep people from just going crazy with credit cards because they don't know how to handle the finances, is to apply for a credit card, you need to pass a credit check. And it's only if you pass a credit check do you get the credit card. So if you are really bad with spending money and you get really behind, you get really behind on your payments and you have trouble paying off your credit cards, and because of that, the credit cards might report it to the credit bureau. If you have like late payments or late fees, stuff like that, that gets reported to the credit bureau, and that tanks your credit score, which means you may not be able to get credit cards in the future because there's a report that you're not good at paying shit back. With Klarna, Affirm, Cash App, all of these, there's no credit check. It's fill out this information online. You make an account online, and then we will just give you the money. We won't do a credit check. And, if you pay us back, great. You've bought your thing, you pay us back, but you get no bonus to your credit score. It does not show on your credit score that you've paid stuff back on time. But if you don't pay stuff back on time, as Nick just said, I am repeating what Nick just said, if you are late and have late payments, that will go bad on your credit score. So it's all bad, no good, other than the thing that you want to buy is spread out over payments. And it's so that there's no benefit of doing one of these over a credit card other than they don't check your credit. So they just basically have an open line for anybody that wants to use it, but it won't benefit you. Doing buy now, pay later through these companies will not benefit you from a long-term financial standpoint like a credit card does. And therein lies the problem.
Pass it along to Klarna users because you can't make individual people pay the processing fees. So they're just going to raise their prices across the board. So even if you're Dave Ramsey paying for everything in fucking cash, you're going to be paying more money because somebody wants to finance a fucking burrito. Which raises a question, why would any retailer want to use Klarna or Afterpay or Affirm or any of these other buy now, pay later companies if they're charging more money for the processing fee? Great question. This is where it gets evil.
This is not only evil, it's where it gets easy. Because they know so many people do it, they're just going to raise the prices. People will still buy it, and they're still going to use it. That's what it boils down to. This has become, the use of these services had become so fucking prevalent that the retailers just say, fuck it, we'll offer it, raise our prices, and people will still buy it. They absolutely will still continue to buy it, but still can use these services. There'll be some bitching and moaning, of course. There already is. There is already bitching and moaning about how prices are going up. Why do you think there are so many people that are saying, oh my God, grocery prices are getting so fucking high? Why do you think that is? It's not only because of the cost of the product itself to get to stock in the store, it's also because of the different types of payment services that are being offered at the cash register that is causing them to raise the prices as well. And what has happened? People are bitching about the prices, of course, as they should, but it's not stopping it. It's not stopping them from paying those prices, which means they can keep the Klarna option at checkout, and people can use the Klarna and pay the higher prices. That's where it boils down to. It's disgusting that the companies are saying we're going to allow this. Like, that's where the disgusting part comes in, is if, grocery stores and retail stores didn't accept Klarna, then they would have an excuse to raise the prices, and therefore people would have a legit reason to basically say, fuck you, I don't want to pay these prices, and maybe be able to do something. But all they're doing is bitching, and they're still paying for it, and they're paying for it with the very thing that's causing the prices to go up. That's the thing. The people that are bitching about the prices going up, some of them, probably more than a few of them, are the same ones using the very service that is causing those prices to go up in the first place.
You've probably seen these in a checkout where it's like you could pay the $100 for your purchase right now, or you can make 4 payments of $25 and still get what you wanted right now. Okay, now to some of us that seems stupid because $100 is $100. Whether you take it from me right now or next Tuesday, I'm still paying $100. What's the big deal? But there's a ton of scientific research that has gone into this, and when you spend a bunch of money, it activates the same part of your brain that is your pain response. It is borderline physically painful to spend a lot of money. So there's a huge chunk of the population that, as long as they see that lower amount in what they have to pay right now, they're 20% more likely to make the purchase, and they're 30% more likely to spend even more money.
Yep.
Yes, science.
So essentially, all these buy now, pay later companies are approaching retailers and saying, hey, we're gonna charge you 6%, but you're gonna sell 20% more often. And when you do sell, those purchases are gonna be 30% larger. Basically, retailers take the deal because it makes them more money. And the reason it makes them more money is because Klarna and all the other buy now, pay later companies have figured out how to make credit cards 2.0, except this time it's more dangerous, it's less regulated, and people that are financially illiterate are more likely to fuck up their entire financial future over a fucking burrito. The inception of this company had to have been like an episode of Mad Men with a bunch of John Hamm looking motherfuckers drinking scotch and smoking cigars inside of a high-rise building, and they're like, haha, we're gonna figure out how to exploit poor and
I forgot to turn that back on. It's the phenomenon, but I won't pay $50 shipping, but I will buy something that's $50 more for free shipping. There you go, Robin. Yeah.
financially illiterate people even harder than they already are, and it's gonna be a great business model. Yeah, except it's not, because that's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay, let me rephrase this entire thing so we're all on the same page. Credit cards have a screening process. You apply for a credit card, meaning they've done some research into you and they've determined you're probably pretty likely to pay this back. Klarna and Buy Now, Pay Later doesn't do that same screening process at all. So they're giving lines of credit, essentially, individual loans on burritos and fucking pizzas to people that probably can't afford to pay it back. You wanna know how I know they can't afford to pay it back? Because they're taking out a payment plan on a fucking burrito.
Yep.
And you're never gonna believe this, it's not working out for them. Q1 of 2025, they posted a $99 million loss, and they have no idea why, because guess what? The people that were financing DoorDash and a bunch of other dumb shit aren't paying off their bills in time. Shocking.
Unbelievable.
I would pay so much money to see the CEO of Klarna have a sit down with Warren Buffett and try to convince Warren Buffett to have Berkshire Hathaway invest in Klarna, as he explains to him in detail that their business model is to sell payment plans and loans for Chipotle burritos. It would be fantastic. These companies literally broke level 1 of capitalism. Capitalism can be described as you identify a fucking problem, then you solve the problem and sell the solution. Klarna, on the other hand, came along and was like, okay, I think I've identified the problem. Poor people don't have any money. What if we made it easier for poor people to have even less money?
Perfect. Everything.
That's not fixing the problem, it's making it worse. Imagine if a plastic surgeon in Miami figured out a way to help women with flat asses have even flatter asses. He would go out of business. Klarna, on the other hand, is trying to IPO for $15 billion, okay? IPO means initial public offering. Basically, they're gonna open this up to the stock market and let people invest in the company. And the shitty part, because it's the tech sector and everybody thinks that the next tech company is gonna be the next Apple or the next Tesla, they're probably gonna get a metric shit ton of money and a ton of investors are gonna come.
Thumb stop, you're absolutely right. Especially with Nick's example, this is literally Wimpy saying, I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. It is exactly that. You are, particularly with Nick's example of the burrito. Yeah, you're exactly correct.
They're probably gonna get a metric shit ton of money and a ton of investors are gonna come.
Bye-bye. How'd you fucking do that?
Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, they're about to get a bunch of people to invest in what amounts to subprime burrito loans, and it has the potential to crash the entire economy, right? This is what happened in 2008 with the housing market. What happened in 2008? A bunch of banks were giving out subprime mortgages. Subprime, meaning they're giving a mortgage to somebody they know probably can't afford it, and guess what happens when people can't afford shit? They don't afford it, and then they end up not making the payments, they foreclose on the house, that happens too much, and it ruins the entire fucking housing market and the entire economy as a whole.
Yes.
Completely sure of the math. Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face. His name's Yang.
How many of you guys have seen this movie? How many of you guys have seen this movie, The Big Short? Have any of you guys seen this movie? Okay, I know what we're watching for movie night. I know what we're watching for movie night then. Chat, this is simultaneously a great and horrific movie. It is basically, it is a quasi-fictionalized accounting of how the housing market crisis occurred back in 2017. It is a fictional movie, but it is a fictional movie based upon factual events with actual real people being representative by the actors. No, not Wolf of Wall Street, Giggle Fingers, The Big Short. I will tell you this right now, and if I forget, you guys remind me. Movie night tomorrow, we will watch The Big Short. For movie night tomorrow, we will watch this. Okay? And if I forget, you guys remind me. Okay? We will watch this tomorrow. It is truly worth watching. It is. It can be kind of depressing, but it is past events, so it's events that have already happened. But it is worth watching. And thank you for the follow, Grim Reaper.
Yeah, I'm sure of the math. Actually, my name's Jung.
But at least when the housing market crashed and the bank foreclosed on a bunch of houses, they still had the houses that they could turn around and sell to somebody else. Granted, they weren't going to get all their money out of it because the price of houses fell to the floor, but at least they had something left over. How the fuck are you going to foreclose on a DoorDash order that somebody ate 9 months ago, okay? You going to go repo a fucking turd? I can't believe I live in a timeline where I'm legitimately concerned that one day I'm going to wake up and see the news headlines reading, subprime DoorDash order bubble bursts, crashing economy. Could the government step in right now and regulate them as credit cards like they should be regulated and fix the entire problem? Absolutely, they sure as fuck could. Unfortunately, my entire government and every politician is 7,000 years old and too technologically illiterate to understand what the problem even is.
Yes. This is one of the biggest problems in government today. One of the absolute biggest problems in government today is half the people running the country are so fucking old they have no fucking clue what the up-to-date technology is or how it works. This is in this day and age, this is a massive failure of governing. I've said this before. I've been saying this for God knows how long. This is why there's a general feeling that term limits need to be a thing for people in Congress. Because when you have people that basically just literally make a career out of being in Congress, they don't care. They're just sitting there in their seats of power making decisions about shit that they have no fucking clue what it even is. They're too old, they're too dumb, and they're too stagnant in what they've been doing for the last 30 fucking years. That they don't care. We need people, and it's not, you can't simply just like get aides to these people in there that know what's going on, because the aides can tell the Congress people so much. The Congress people, if they don't understand, they're just gonna go, I don't fucking care, we're just gonna keep going on. Like, no. This is why we need to get people into government that know what's happening in the modern day. I don't want someone who considered the combustion engine bleeding edge tech, 70 fucking years ago. That's not who I want someone running the country. I want someone running the country who knows what the fuck is going on in the here and now. They don't have to know everything. Nobody's going to know everything, but to at least have a basic understanding of how the modern day works is necessary. It is absolutely necessary to have a government that can know how to run a country based on modern technology, modern ideology, modern trends, etc., etc. It needs to happen. And yeah, I think the same thing is true of I think the same thing might be true of, well, I'm not going to go that route, but at the very least, for Congress, for the lawmakers, there needs to be term limits. You will need to get a point, like make it like the president. Make the term limit the same as the president. For people in Congress, 8 years. For people in Congress, make them have a term limit of a maximum of like 8 years. And at the end of the 8 years, They got to get some new blood in there. They do. It's like there needs to be a change. We can't have a bunch of fucking dinosaurs deciding. We can't have a bunch of dinosaurs from the 1950s deciding how people should live their lives in 2025. And them thinking it's still the fucking 1960s or the 1970s. It's really that simple.
Does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
What? How do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
It's funny how Congress had term limits, then they voted it away. Curious indeed.
I mean, Revan, it's no secret. It's no secret that they voted it away because they want to retain power. That is one of the worst kept secrets in Washington. They voted it away because Congress people love to maintain their power. They do not give a fuck about their constituents. They pretend to give a fuck about their constituents, so the constituents will keep voting them in. That way they can keep retaining power, keep basically earning money, plus getting kickbacks from God knows who while they're in those positions of power. It's the worst fucking kept secret in Washington. Or DC, I should specify.
What? How do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
And by the time they do realize it's a problem, it's probably going to be too big to fail, so they're just going to print a bunch of money, give it to fucking Klarna to pay off their subprime burrito loans, and then all the taxpayers get to pay for it. Fucking terrific. Yep. I can't wait. Okay, that's it. There's no silver linings. This is the dumbest business model I've ever seen in my entire life. If you want to take away from the video, it's this. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a business, find a problem, identify it, then solve the problem to make people's lives better. If at any point your idea to make money is to identify a problem and then make it worse to take advantage of poor and financially illiterate people, you're a piece of shit. And for the love of God, if you have to take out a payment plan to have a private chauffeur hand deliver you a burrito, please don't do it. If you need to take out a payment plan for the burrito, you can't afford the burrito. There's literally bankers on the internet posting stories about how young couples lost the opportunity at their—
Wait, hold up. Okay, credit inquiries and buy it now, pay later.
Bankers on the internet post—
POV, having to explain to your husband all your Klarna payments on the mortgage application.
Posting stories about how young couples lost the opportunity.
After finally getting approved to buy our dream home, the bank just called and said we couldn't get the loan. Ow.
Literally bankers on the internet posting stories about how young couples lost the opportunity at their first house because they made a purchase with one of these buy now, pay laters a year ago, forgot about it, they reported the debt to collections, and it tanked their credit, and they weren't able to buy their first house over some fast food. Please don't ruin your financial future to have a burrito hand delivered to you. Buh! DoorDash is a necessity for some people. You're just a rich YouTuber that doesn't understand the struggles of the average person. Buh!
Motherfucker. You can use DoorDash without instituting a fucking payment plan on your McDonald's. The scary part is I think Nick has actually had some keyboard warriors say this to him. Tornado, you can, it just takes years. If you catch a ding to your credit report because of something like you didn't pay on Klarna and it got sent to collections, you can repair that. It will take years. It will take absolutely fucking years to repair any dings to your credit score. Which is why, okay, side tangent, I know you're shocked. Side tangent. Credit scores in and of themselves are fucking criminal. No, Ernani, this is not for bankruptcy, but for a ding on your credit score, like from collections. I don't know if a collections thing will take 7 years to come off. I don't think it might be as bad as bankruptcy, as if you can take care of it. But credit scores are one of the biggest criminal scams I've ever seen. And hi, Mad Mike. Thank you. Welcome in. Like, I hate the absolute concept of the credit score. Because the way in which the credit score is based is literally designed to fuck over the consumer. Okay, credit scores, the concept of the credit score as a quick and dirty on this, credit score, the purpose of a credit score is to basically be informational to a lending agency, be it a bank, credit cards, whatever. If you want to basically take out a loan or get a credit card, the credit score is used to determine if you are a financially viable candidate or a responsibly financially viable candidate for this particular service, be it a credit card, loan, what have you. And it's also utilized by businesses nowadays. It's also used by landlords these days, where if you want to rent an apartment or get a high-paying job, they may run your credit score because to that, in their eyes, that it determines if you are good with money, and that would make you a good candidate. Why that is, I don't know. But here's the thing. With credit scores, they are far more easy to kill than they are to build up. To build a good credit score will take literally years. From the get-go, it will take years for you to build up a good credit score. And to build a good credit score, that means continually paying, like if you are able to get a credit card, continually paying that credit card off on time every month, either in payments or fully off. My opinion, if you get a credit card, you should fully pay it off every month. And if you ever use a credit card, pay it all off every month. If you can't afford it, if you cannot afford to buy something without like doing a credit card and making payments on it, don't buy it. That is my opinion. As a generalized rule, exceptions can apply, of course, but if you know, it will take you years to build up that positive credit by paying things online, by paying credit cards online. Utility bills often will affect your credit score positively. And so by paying all that stuff on time every month, it slowly builds your credit score up. However, one missed payment, one slip up on paying any of these things like the credit cards, like if you do a late payment, that dings your credit score and it will kill your credit score about 1,000 times faster than paying everything off on time. So you would spend like 5 years paying off a credit card on time every month, and then you like miss 3 payments on your credit card after 5 years of paying on time, your credit score like goes off a cliff. And when that happens, you cannot get loans. You cannot get what you cannot, you can't get mortgages. You can't get a loan for a car. You can't get other credit cards. Again, the thing, if a landlord checks your credit score, it's going to see low credit and go, no, I'm not going to rent you. If a high-paying job wants to do credit score to determine if you're a good candidate, they'll see your credit scores in the toilet and say, nope, we don't want someone like you, and you'll get passed up on a big job. It takes so little to kill your credit score, but takes so much to build it up. And that's why I fucking hate the concept of the credit score, because it is designed specifically to fuck people over. And even if you are able to get, like, say, a credit card when you have a bad credit score, your APR financing is astronomical because they know they can charge you that APR finance, that extremely high APR, because you can't get anything anywhere else. And so if you're not paying your credit card off every month, every payment you make is going to be astronomically high, and it's going to take you all that much longer to try and pay it off if you're only making payments. This is why I say if you have a credit card, pay it off every month. If you want to buy something on your credit card and you don't have the money to 100% pay it off by the end of the month or even the next fucking day, don't buy that thing. Don't do it. I have one credit card. Every time I use that credit card, I give it about a day or two to let that payment post, and then I 100% pay it off. I don't even wait till the end of the month. As soon as that payment is posted on my credit card, I pay it off. And I only use my credit card once in a while to try and build my credit, to try and get me good credit. So that's why I think that the credit score, the concept of the credit score in general is a way for the finance industry to fuck the little guy.
And the funny thing is, if you do buy things in cash and don't use credit, you have a bad score too. Or even don't use a card and it closes, it lowers your score.
Yep. That exactly, Ryvan. Like, when it comes to the financial industry, it is they will try and fuck the little guy every which way they can. It is a huge government level scam to fuck over the little guy. Like, even if you want to be financially responsible and not get a credit card and pay for everything up front using your debit card and not get anything on it, on credit. If you want to be responsible and say, no, I'm only going to buy what I can afford. I'm not going to get credit for anything. It's still going to screw over your credit score. You are fucked either way. It's basically the financial industry has got society by the balls. And that's the way things are run. And like, what can be done about this? I don't know. I am not an economics expert. I am not a government expert. I would think that there has to be something. I don't know what, but there needs to be a change of some sort.
Hey, pause. I know what you're thinking. Fat Electrician is taking this keyboard warrior thing too far. He's making straw men. Surely nobody is actually arguing that DoorDash is a necessity. You're incorrect. I like to probe topics before I make these videos to see what the keyboard warriors will.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me move. And I knew he was going to do this. That's why I said, I guarantee you, people have actually said this.
You're incorrect.
Here we go. YouTube millionaire can't understand the struggles of the 99%. Don't buy luxury services with debit if you can't afford it. Is free sign advice. And Cheeto Tears is DoorDash is a necessary service for some people with disabilities, not a luxury. Nick is responding A. No, it isn't. People have had disabilities forever, and DoorDash is fairly new. And B. You cite the struggles of the 99%, then immediately use a 1% minority as your justification.
Like to probe topics before I make these videos to see what the keyboard warriors will say, and this is a real opinion that popped up on the thread. And my response to this is as follows. A, I was delivering DoorDash, not ordering DoorDash. I was a delivery driver for DoorDash like 2.5 years ago, so I could afford to pay my bills. So you can fuck right off with that shit. B, DoorDash is a luxury purchase, okay? I don't give a fuck what the circumstance is. Ordering restaurant quality food and then summoning a stranger to hand deliver it to you is a luxury purchase. To call that a necessity regardless of circumstance is like saying that
yeah, there you go. Let's do a quick poll. Let's do a quick poll. I know that some people there are some people in my chat that are have various degrees of physical disability. Okay, I do know that there are many in my chat that do. So, people in chat that are afflicted with physical disabilities, your answers only, please. Do you consider DoorDash or Uber Eats, these kinds of services, do you consider them a, quote, necessity? Disabled individuals only, if you please. Xanax, you have already said that you're disabled and you don't use DoorDash. Llama, you say no. No, Chronics, you're not. Oseo, no. Xanax, no. Mad Mike, no. Alex, Zeb, I'm not going to make an anonymous poll because I don't find people that have a physical disability inferior in any way, shape, or form. I think people that have a physical disability are some of the strongest people I've ever met. So I don't think there's any need for anonymity. No, they're not a necessity. No, I don't. No. Yeah, overwhelmingly, no. Overwhelming. So yeah. That argument goes out the fucking window.
Is a luxury purchase. To call that a necessity regardless of circumstance is like saying that a Rolex is a necessity because people need to be able to tell what time it is. No, the fuck it isn't. Go buy a G-Shock for $9 and it's fine. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. The new tech bro buy now pay later companies are the worst, shittiest, dumbest business model that I've ever seen in my entire life. Thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out. I'm gonna get a cease and desist. I can feel it already.
too late. We've already watched the video. Schultz, if it prevents you from going and getting your food, yes, it would be. If you can use corrective lenses, it's a disability, but it is a physical disability, but overcomable for these purposes. Yeah. Very topical, especially considering all of the Caleb videos that we've been watching these days.